Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're so glad to have you here today. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our content. For all of you who've been following along with us for a while, thank you. We're truly blessed to have such an amazing community. Today's topic is one that's close to my heart and, I'm sure, one that many of you can relate to: faith over fear. Trusting God in every relationship. We all know relationships come with their challenges. Whether it's a romantic relationship, friendships, family ties, or even our connection to ourselves, difficulties are part of the human experience. But what if I told you that there's a way to face those challenges, not in fear or frustration, but in faith? What if we could trust that in every trial and hardship, God has a plan, a purpose, and a greater good waiting to unfold? That's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to explore how trusting in God's plan can completely transform the way we approach every relationship in our lives. It's about learning to let go of control, allowing God to guide us, and understanding that through faith, challenges become opportunities for growth. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into this powerful conversation about faith over fear in relationships. The foundation of every relationship. Let's begin by talking about the foundation of relationships. Whether it's romantic, familial, or platonic, the strongest relationships are built on trust. Trust is what keeps the connection solid and resilient through the inevitable storms of life. Without trust, relationships are like houses built on sand. No matter how beautiful the house looks, it won't stand firm when the winds of life blow through. And just like in any healthy relationship, our relationship with God is also founded on trust. When we trust God, we trust that He has a greater purpose for our lives, even when things don't make sense. He is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating situations in a way that, if we follow Him, will bring about growth and eventual fulfillment. In our relationships with others, this same trust in God can transform the way we handle conflict, miscommunication, and differing opinions. Rather than reacting in anger or frustration, we can pause and remind ourselves that God is at work. Instead of trying to control the outcome, we learn to lean on Him for guidance, patience, and understanding. Embracing the challenge. Faith in the midst of conflict. Let's talk about conflict. It's inevitable, right? No matter how perfect a relationship might seem on the surface, everyone faces disagreements, misunderstandings, or challenging situations. And in those moments, it's easy to let fear take over. Fear of losing someone, fear of things getting worse, fear of not knowing how to fix it. But this is where faith comes in. When we trust God, we acknowledge that He is bigger than any issue we may be facing. Instead of letting fear control our reactions, we let faith guide us. Faith reminds us that God is in control, even when things feel chaotic. Faith reminds us that conflict isn't the end of a relationship, it's an opportunity for growth. Here's the thing: in every challenge, God can teach us something. He can teach us patience, kindness, empathy, and understanding. He can teach us how to forgive, how to listen, and how to love more deeply. Relationships are meant to shape us into better versions of ourselves, and often, it's the tough moments that help us grow the most. Let's take a moment to reflect on what happens when we choose faith over fear in these moments. Instead of reacting impulsively, we take a breath and pray for clarity. Instead of rushing to fix things, we trust that God has a plan, and that His timing is perfect. And in doing so, we allow God to use the situation for our good, whether that's to teach us something about ourselves or to strengthen our relationship with the other person. Letting go of control. Surrendering to God's plan. One of the hardest things for us to do in relationships is to let go of control. We want things to go our way, we want to fix things, and we often believe that if we just try harder, things will improve. But here's a powerful truth: control isn't ours to hold. God is in control, and when we surrender that control to Him, we open ourselves up to His divine guidance and wisdom. When we face challenges in our relationships, it's easy to get caught up in our own emotions and desires. But if we trust God, we can surrender our fears and frustrations to Him. This doesn't mean we don't care or that we're passive. It means we acknowledge that God knows what's best, and we're willing to trust Him, even when we don't understand the situation. It's not always easy to surrender, especially when things are difficult or when we feel like we're losing control. But when we release our grip on the situation and trust God, He can work in ways we could never imagine. Whether it's healing a broken relationship, giving us the strength to forgive, or helping us grow in patience, God's plan is always better than ours. Strengthening relationships through prayer. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools we have as believers: prayer. Prayer is the bridge that connects us to God, and it's through prayer that we can seek guidance, strength, and wisdom in our relationships. Whether it's praying for clarity in a difficult situation or praying for the person we're in conflict with, prayer is essential to maintaining a healthy and strong relationship. In the midst of relational challenges, prayer helps us align our hearts with God's will. Instead of focusing on the problem, we focus on His promises. We pray for peace, understanding, and unity. We ask God to help us see the other person through His eyes, to give us the strength to forgive, and to provide wisdom on how to move forward. Prayer doesn't just change the other person, it changes us. It softens our hearts, opens our eyes, and helps us see things from a different perspective. Prayer also helps us release our fears, allowing us to face challenges with confidence, knowing that God is by our side. Remember, in every relationship, we are called to love and serve others just as Christ loves us. Prayer aligns our hearts with this calling, helping us reflect God's love in every interaction, even in the midst of conflict. Building trust in God through every season. Every relationship goes through seasons. There are seasons of joy, of growth, of laughter, and of connection. But there are also seasons of difficulty, hardship, and uncertainty. It's in these challenging seasons that our faith is tested the most. But here's the beautiful thing: God is with us in every season. Whether we're in a season of celebration or a season of struggle, God's love never changes. And when we trust God in every season of our relationships, we build a foundation of trust that can withstand any storm. When we trust God, we don't just trust Him for the good times, we trust Him in the hard times too. We trust Him to heal, to restore, and to bring about something greater than we could ever imagine. Every season is an opportunity to deepen our faith, and in doing so, strengthen our relationships. Walking in faith, not fear. So, what does it look like to truly trust God in every relationship? It's about walking by faith, not by fear. It's about surrendering control and allowing God to lead. It's about praying for wisdom, guidance, and peace. It's about trusting that, even in the midst of challenges, God is at work, and that He has a plan for our relationships. When we choose faith over fear, we open ourselves to the transformative power of God's love. We allow Him to shape us, to heal us, and to strengthen our relationships in ways we could never do on our own. So today, I encourage you to take a step of faith. Trust God with your relationships, whether that's your partner, your friends, your family, or even yourself. Believe that God is working in every situation for your good. And know that, no matter what challenges you face, you are not alone. Thanks for watching. If this video has encouraged you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're going through a tough time in your relationships, remember that God is always there, ready to guide you through it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, stay blessed, keep walking by faith, and remember that in every relationship, God's plan is greater than our fears.